the future of Flare and Ripple and what they might do next is talked about by Brad Garlinghouse on CNN. We'll also look at what Kevin O'Leary said about crypto being the 12th part of the economy today. We'll also talk about some new information about the case that Stu Alder and James K. Falling told us. The judge did some things that we need to talk about in this movie. We'll also look at a lot of other things about Ripple and XRP. A lot of people will be there, so let's start this way. If you find something useful, please click like. That's the best thing you can do for the program. Also, feel free to leave a review below. We need to talk about Flare Networks. What do people who own XRP and use Ripple or the website think? It's not so much what our buyers want as it is what you're doing here. Flare Networks is very interesting. New company. They're also doing something interesting with a token called Spark. It's not at all like what Ripple is doing, but I think it shows that more people are realizing how useful XRP is as a digital currency. As we talked about, the long-term value of any digital product will depend on how useful it is. I think that seeing a company like Clear Networks use the XRP network in new ways is a chance to move forward, but it doesn't change how Ripple networks or how we use ODL for our customers. It has little to do with that. Also, I should say that it's just a startup, but Ripple has paid for it. That's why I made the link. What does this mean for people who own XRP? Flare's work is very interesting, and people who own XRP should be excited about it. I'm happy for Flare as they move forward with this airdrop of Spark tokens because I think they've found an interesting area and will be able to solve a real problem. I've met the people in charge, and I think they're very skilled and have a good idea of what problem they want to solve. It's been about 2 weeks since the airdrop, and I still saw today that Coinbase and Kraken are not taking part. Why are you worried? I have no idea. I believe the management team is smart, so I would let them tell me what's going on. We're keeping an eye on these conversations, even though Ripple isn't a part of them, because we want to be supportive and helpful, but we're letting them lead. Does anyone have any plans to connect Ripple to Flare? We can see where this is going because everyone is asking questions. Yeah, I don't have anything to say today, but that doesn't mean I don't want to build this new funding engine. That's all I have to say about it. There is a chance. I've always thought of Ripple as Amazon for payments. Amazon began by offering books, and I want Ripple to be more than just a way to send money between countries. The main idea behind Ripple has always been how to make the internet as a place where people can find useful information in our world. Now, how do we name things that have value? As time goes on, this could take years or even a decade, depending on how well the security works. There are many deals going on, and the main idea behind any blockchain that works well is that it lets two parties do business without a third party. This cuts down on costs and speeds things up, which is all good. After some time, I think you'll see tools like the XRP letter used in a lot of different ways quickly. There's a lot of stuff here. Hugo Finan did tell me that this would help me reach my goals even if I didn't have any assets. Hugo Finan recently did an interview in which he said he would like to see up to 10 billion 0 cents traded every day in DeFi, not in centralized finance, but in DeFi worth F assets and other places where Flint's going down. That means Flare could be a great chance right now. Let's look at this coin market cap, FLR. If you want to get in, we were only at 1 cent, so it's time for 2 cents. It's still very early, ladies and gentlemen. Take a look at this market cap number. The FDV supply is 65 billion. The total supply is 103 billion, and the market cap is 1.26 billion. With 142 billion XRP, Flare would be worth 130 to 125 times as much. This means there is a lot of room for growth. It's chance Brad is always coming up with new ideas. When he talked about insurance, did you notice that there haven't been many changes or new stories from Ripple in that area? That means that some things are definitely coming up. Also, Brad's talk about how long it will take to finish all of this is interesting. Do you remember where they started? and where they are now. We started by making it easier to send money across borders. Then we moved on to private ledgers and digital money issued by central banks. Once we knew we had some of the best tools for the job, we moved on to tokenization and stablecoins. Finally, we moved on to government bonds and other types of partnerships. Right now, you want to work with Ripple when you look at Cardano. You can see that Chainlink is now working with Ripple. What's next? Now that you know Sui can work with the XRP system, a lot of things are happening, and the XRP system will be very valuable. Kevin O'Leary says that crypto will be the 12th most important part of the economy in 5 years. This is because it helps so many other areas and is great for digital payments. When Robinhood bought WonderFi, you no longer had to go through a bank to send money over the internet. It's crazy that they did that before WonderFi, so they could have really... He likes pushing his own work, but hey, I guess that's why he's so rich. XRP has been around since 2012 or 2013. People could have done this without banks back in 2009 when Bitcoin first came out. It looks like you didn't make anything new. You're just using a technology that already exists. I love how he asks, did we do this? Everyone else did what we did, man. You came in after the fact, right? That's $1 trillion business with 60-year-old technology and really high fees right now. If you have a wallet in either Canada or the US, all you have to do is send a safe coin. That's it. It's great to see that Mr. Wonderful agrees with all of this tokenization. Was he always in favor of crypto? I was having nightmares, and God knows where we end up when I have them. But yeah, I thought Mr. Wonderful. I might not have been as pro-crypto 5 or 6 years ago, but I could be wrong. Is there a way for Ripple to get to Fed master accounts through FedNow, Finastra, FedWire, and Fed? Now, the Federal Reserve master account gives you direct access to settle payments in. However, FedWire handles around $4 trillion 0 cents every day. This is what keeps the American banking system together and stops the Fed from taking a beating. Now is meant to take the place of FedWire, and it says that those accounts are very hard to get because they are only available at regulated banks and are subject to close oversight by regulators. Finance companies like Ripple can't get direct access, which makes me think that they will eventually become their own bank. I don't have any proof, but if you watch 1,000 Extra or Ripple movies in 5 years, you'll get an idea of what these people can do to Monica, Brad Garlinghouse, Home, Chris Larsson, or David Schwartz. I wouldn't put less value on anyone on the Ripple team. Says that Ripple gets access in a roundabout way by working with Finastra, which is one of the biggest core banking tech companies and works with the FedNow service. Says that the most important part of this is the liquidity management tool, Lambda, which is part of Fed Private Fast payment services like Ripple, can now send deals to tech companies like Finastra and settle in central bank money. This means that any of these banks could use Finastra, which is part of the Finastra system. Ripple's XRP-based payment flows can work with real-time banking flows that are compliant thanks to FedNow. This liquidity management tool is what lets Ripple connect to U.S. central banking systems indirectly through Fed integration. Ripple services are part of the settlement process using central bank reserves without needing direct access to a master